is the 21st episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the first Sunday of December 2010. This episode is titled Dreamforce Predictions. CloudFocus Weekly is sponsored by Arkus, cloud computing experts. I'm your host, Jason Atwood, and joining me today, live here, or I guess recorded here in San Francisco, is my co-founder and buddy, Justin. Justin, how are you doing?
It's kind of like one of those old sitcoms where they say recorded live or recorded in front of a live studio audience.
If there were an audience here and they were a studio, in the studio, it would be...
This is our podcasting studio.
It is. Today is in the lovely downtown Omni Hotel in San Francisco. We flew in yesterday. Feeling good?
Yeah.
You excited for Dreamforce?
Yeah, I'm not even jet lagged at all. I was able to stay up pretty late last night. It's good.
Nice. For those that don't know, we're East Coasters, so the 3-hour difference sometimes gets us at the nighttime. But I think we all managed to survive and stay up a little late last night and ready to go today. So we've got a little agenda. We're going to talk about Chatter for iPad, which came out. We're going to talk about Chatter Bingo, which is live in the production org, the Dreamforce app org, Dreamforce portal. And then make our Dreamforce predictions and maybe review the t-shirt contest and give the secret word once again sometime during the podcast, maybe now, but not now. So last night at around, I think it was like 10 o'clock at night or something, or about 7 o'clock at night, Chatter for iPad came out. They're really cutting it down to the wire there. That was last thing. So I downloaded it and started to play with it. Have you had a chance to play with it yet?
I tried. I installed it, if that's what you're asking. But I couldn't get it to work.
Yeah, I had the similar problem. I downloaded it, and I was really geeking out last night, sitting in the bar having a beer and basically playing on multiple Chatter apps. So I downloaded it, I installed it, I tried to log into an org, and it just failed, and it failed, and crashed and crashed and crashed. Again, I've had many iPhones, and so I know that sometimes you just reboot. So it crashed about 10 times. I went into the Dreamforce portal on my iPhone, and I posted like, "Oh, look, it's crashing. It might be a great app, but I can't get." So I said, "It might be me." Rebooted, and then it worked fine. It's a nice little app. It's everything you want in a Chatter app, in that you can get in, you can see groups, you can see files. I posted a file, it picked it right up from my iPad and threw it into the org. So it works great. I'm sure it's just sometimes apps, I guess, take some sort of weird namespace on the iOS.
I had a different experience. So when I went to put in my username and password, it looked like an iPad app. It was full screen iPad. And then when I put in my username and password and hit, go, activate, it flipped over into the Salesforce app on the iPad, which was like an iPhone app.
Right.
It was small. Did you have that experience?
No.
Yeah, it like forgot that it was the Chatter app. It thought it was the Salesforce mobile app at that point.
Are you sure you were using you downloaded the Chatter app for
Absolutely.
iPad, not the Chatter app for iPhone?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you for asking that. I absolutely downloaded the right app because it said, "Hey, welcome to Chatter for iPad." It was full screen, and then it flipped over to the little mini iPhone app screen, and it was like, if you activate this device, it will delete all your other devices. I was like, what is this? This is not right. This is wrong. So I didn't move forward from there. I quit.
Oh, that's interesting. Well,
yeah,
two
bad
different
experience.
Two different experience. Again, once I got it working, it's great. It's very much like the iPhone version, but bigger, native. We were actually talking on the way, I guess yesterday, on the way here, that we were surprised that the Dreamforce app was built by an outside company. Not surprised, but we noticed that it was built by an outside company. Pretty full featured, has lots of stuff. I think it's great for what it is for this conference. But I think, and having a little bit of inside knowledge, I don't think there's a lot of developers on the mobile platform for Salesforce. They're in the org right now, and they might be listening to the podcast. But I don't feel like there's a ton of them, because the Salesforce app, which is the mobile light app, has never gone universal for the iPad. In my understanding, and I have some experience in this, in developing for the iPhone platform, is that it's not that big of a deal to go from a Salesforce regular app, from a regular iPhone app, and then to convert it into a universal app. if you're just going to make it work, meaning you're going to make it not pixel double and you're going to replace some of the icons. There's a lot of icons and photo files you have to do, but so I'm just surprised that love Chatter for the iPad, surprised that Dreamforce app isn't universal, and very surprised that almost after the iPhone has been out or the iPad has been out for, I don't know now, 8-9 months, and that it's been an incredible success. We're talking 9 million sold, I think, and they're set to sell like some crazy number this season. In fact, I've already bought a few for people for Christmas. That they haven't taken the regular Salesforce app and made it a universal app. Just seems strange.
Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just going to move completely away from that.
It's a lot to move away from. That because that program, unlike just web browsers, but it actually syncs, which is the nice thing about the Dreamforce.
Yeah, what I mean
apps.
is that maybe they're going to move away and do Chatter apps, and you'll be able to do stuff within the Chatter app, syncing, editing records, etc. Like all the resources are probably being sucked into. Let's get this Chatter thing going.
Oh, I agree. But again, interesting that they hired another company to do the Dreamforce app. So anyway, so that's Chatter for iPad. Well, hopefully you get yours working.
Great reviews from Arkus.
Another thing going on.
Hopefully it works for you.
Yeah, go download it. And if it doesn't work for you, come find us on the forum, and we'll commiserate.
We'll trade war stories.
Another thing that was launched in the Dreamforce portal org, is Chatter Bingo. So why don't you describe a little bit what that is and how it came about?
Yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon. A few users in the Dreamforce application got together and decided that they thought it would be a good idea to put together a game of sorts where it would pull together different people that you follow, and you can mark them off as you actually meet them in person, because the Dreamforce app, as we've talked about, is a great way to meet people pre-conference and get to talking to people and communicating with people. But then you oftentimes say, hey, let's meet at the conference, and you want to meet these people. So what Chatter Bingo is a collaborative effort by a few users within the Dreamforce app itself that came together by one guy named Brad Gross designed a bingo card and said, wouldn't it be cool if you could just generate a random bingo card with you in the center and all the people that you follow or are following you around you, and then you'd have a little card to go around and meet people. So you started up a group in the Dreamforce app, which is an interesting way to go about designing and implementing a product. And a developer named David Schock jumped on and actually developed the thing with Brad. And they actually got it working, and they released an App Exchange private package. And through some politicking, got it actually implemented inside of the Dreamforce app, which is a testament to the power of the collaborative tool that is Chatter and the Dreamforce app itself, because these people never, they didn't sit in a room, and they just sort of came up with this idea, this brainchild, and developed it through a group in Chatter, and got some feature requests from a couple other people in the group, and now it's live, and there's a bingo tab in your Dreamforce app. You click it, and it generates a bingo card for you. It's pretty cool.
I think beyond the application itself, it's a funny app, and I'll give a hint on how to use it, because of the way you can use it on.
It's not super complicated. It's like a simple little Visualforce page that brings up.
I think it reads through it doesn't read through the people who follow you or you follow?
I think it reads through the people that you are following.
You are following, okay. So, but what I think it's just sort of mind-blowing, again, having known Salesforce for a long time as a company, it's a very sort of startup kind of social cool thing to do for Salesforce that is now growing. This conference, they're talking about it being 25, 30,000 people. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but they're talking about it being massive this year. That they would literally, days before the actual Dreamforce, where a lot of people are eyes on them, that they would take some code written by some outside guys, not only test it, validate it, but then throw it inside of their own org and like sort of announce it I can't imagine another company. Can you imagine Microsoft deciding to take someone's VB script that they wrote, some macro, and a couple days before their big conference throw it into Excel? Or can you imagine? I mean, the companies that I can think of, big software companies would never, ever, ever do that. It's risky, and I think it's great. I think it's a huge testament to Tom Wong, who's sort of the spearheading Dreamforce, and to Salesforce for just kind of being, I want to call it good-natured and fun. I don't think companies do that type of thing. So very, very cool. So here's a tip for you. You can generate it, then you can generate it as a PDF, right? And
That's right.
And you can take that PDF on, and go around and then print it out. For those who are trying to save trees, a couple ways you can do it. First of all, you can generate the PDF, and then this is a tip for anybody out there, but I don't know if you know, but you can take a PDF on your desktop and just drag it onto iTunes, and then it will sync. The PDF will sync to your iPhone the next time you sync. Great feature. You can also email it, and then on your iPhone or iPad, you can actually click on a PDF and say open in iBooks. So you can, in two different ways there, because you can use PDFs on iBooks and you can see them. So that's kind of cool, right? Okay, I could see it and I can go around. Here's a better way. Take a screenshot of it with your iPhone or iPad when you're logged into the org via just a regular login, and then you can use a drawing program to actually mark them off. You can start with that as the background to the drawing program, and then you can mark them off. I don't know which drawing program. I'll tweet it or something. Which one can do that? Because I have like 4 or 5 on my iPad. But so anyway, so you can actually go around with your iPad and click people off as you see them, put a little X or whatever until you get bingo. Yep. Very, very cool.
So one more shout out we to Brad and David who created the application, but also to Chris Shackelford, who works for Salesforce, who is sort of the guy behind the scenes politicking to get it into the org. So,
awesome stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't get Chatterlytics.
Chattylytics. I'm actually logged into the Dreamforce app right now, and I do see a new tab called Cases, which is what you would expect it to be. Just it's a portal view into my cases, and you could submit. It looks like you can create a new case with a subject and a description. You can also, I imagine they'll be announcing that you can tweet some hashtag, maybe DF10 or help or something like that. Maybe a hashtag within the application that will generate a case. But cases are now available within the Dreamforce application. So some new stuff there. I'm sure that as the event starts, the content will be pushed out to the application as well, as that's happened in years past.
Yeah, very cool. So one last thing, we're going to actually talk about the t-shirt contest, the Arkus t-shirt contest. Forgot to put it on the agenda, but it's sort of why we're doing a podcast at 8 a.m. on Sunday, which is, for those of you who haven't heard yet, or this is the first time you've heard of this podcast, well, you got a lot of catching up to do, because we're talking about Dreamforce, we're talking about Salesforce, we're talking about Chatter, we're talking about a whole bunch of stuff.
Go download the first 20.
Yeah.
And then come back.
We actually have a fan who has listened to all of them, went back, and I hope he enjoyed them all.
Good for Andy.
So we're having a contest. I'm actually wearing the t-shirt in question.
Yeah, you are. Looks nice.
Yep. It's basically a t-shirt with our logo on the front and on the back. It has a mock-up of the Safe Harbor presentation slide, kind of a lorem ipsum version of it. And if you'd like to get one of these, I would say win, but it's not really win, it's a giveaway. You have to do 3 things or 4 things. You have to follow the company, and this is all within the portal. It's all on blog.arkusinc.com. If you're in the portal, there's a group for it. You can actually read the rules there. Basically, follow Arkus Inc. on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and then listen to a podcast, since you listen to it, and we'll tell you the secret word, which we're going to do right now. And then join the group within the portal, which is the Arkus t-shirt giveaway group. And we will then have it available starting on Tuesday, and we will put it into the group on Tuesday morning, or when we're about to meet, so you can come find us. We'll have the t-shirts. If you come up with the keyword, with the secret word at that point, and have done the other 3 things, wow, it sounds so simple, but maybe it isn't. We will give you a t-shirt. Supplies, while supplies last. Restrictions might apply. See your local state listings for the rules. So the secret word is Arky. A-R-K-Y. It's our pet rock in the office, which is a picture up on Facebook if you want to see what that looks like. A-R-K-Y. Arky. The secret word is Arky. All right, so...
You have to say it like that?
If you want to say it like that, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Special, if you get a special bonus extra secret something, which is really nothing. If you leave if you're in iTunes for the podcast and you leave a great review, that gets you extra special bonus and maybe a handshake. So, light podcast today, but we want to talk about our predictions because Dreamforce actually doesn't start until Tuesday.
No, it doesn't.
So we were going to do a podcast tomorrow, but we're booked with lots of stuff and people to talk to, and there's lots of sort of goings on Monday. So we thought we'd get this out early on Sunday, give people a chance to download and listen to it. So we were going to make some predictions. This is our CloudFocus prediction of the week, since we're not doing picks this week. So there's already been a couple rumors. Well, the Chatter going freemium, we talked about that in the last podcast, which just seems days ago, and it was. So give me your prediction for sort of the big idea, the big thing or make a bold prediction, see what happens.
You know, it's kind of funny when you watch the talking head sports TV shows, like before big games, they're like, make a bold prediction. And like it gives the hosts the opportunity to literally say anything they want. So I've been thinking about this.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard because last year Chatter was the big thing, and who could have really thought of Chatter? So my prediction for this year, and it's sort of it's more for a large enterprise type thing, but I predict that Salesforce will allow large enterprises to have their own, I'm air quoting, virtual private cloud, where it's not going to be called a private cloud, but they'll be allowed to do sort of their own thing in their own little private area of Salesforce and have more control over things like Chatter being automatically turned on and versions and this and that. I
so
feel
you're
as
saying
if
they're going to move away from their entire model.
I feel as if
That's a great
yeah,
prediction.
I feel as if that they will appease some large enterprises in doing something like that.
I will predict boldly that in the same vein that Mark Benioff is going to sell his house in Hawaii and move to Alaska.
That doesn't sound great.
And become the governor of Alaska.
Why you have to make fun?
And
what's your prediction?
So my prediction is not as bold. That's pretty bold. It's crazy, but pretty bold. My prediction has got to do with Jigsaw. Jigsaw's been a company they bought, well, I think it was like 9 months ago. For those of you who don't know, it's a social take on updating contact and company records like Dun & Bradstreet, but done through the web, and you get points for it. And there is an app, a way to sync that with Salesforce. My prediction is there's not going to be a sync. It's going to be built into the platform. That Jigsaw is built in the platform, so you can sit on any record and say, verify this with Jigsaw, and it'll instantly pull and push from Jigsaw into Salesforce. So gone are the days of having to update people's records to say Jason Atwood, his email, his work address, whatever. It'll be built right in. I think it'll be rebranded something, Salesforce E. So and it'll still
data cloud is what they're going with.
So it will be built right in, and it'll be a Salesforce platform play, but taking all that stuff, and then I think they'll throw Chatter on top of it. So I think you'll have sort of Salesforce Jigsaw integrated into Salesforce with Chatter and working together. So there will be no more, if you want to have a lead or a contact or an account, you can be able to seamlessly get it synced with Jigsaw. And if they do it right, it could be revolutionary, because it does take away from the problem of everybody having their own copies of the Jason Atwood record, right? I don't know how many exist. More than 2, I would think. But which one's right? And my phone number, if it changes, it doesn't change. Where does it change? So it's creating kind of a global social address book that everybody can pull off of.
I have a bit of an issue with the way Jigsaw works, because I think the fact that I know Jason Atwood's real contact information is a bit proprietary for me. Like, kudos to me for knowing the real Jason Atwood's contact information and the hard work that I put in to get that CEO's personal email address, why should someone else benefit from that? Like a competitor of mine, for example. So I have some issues with the way that like Jigsaw could potentially work in the way that you're talking about it. Like,
I think you're thinking about this in much more of an old school way, meaning that my information now with LinkedIn, with Facebook, with Twitter, people are now not trying to protect that information; they're trying to get it out. And so, I agree. The CEO of Steve Jobs, but even Steve Jobs, there's a perfect example. One of the most protective. I mean, Mark Benioff will get up on the stage and say, "Email me at ceo@salesforce.com if you have a problem, and I'll get back to you."
Yeah, but that's not his personal cell phone number.
No, it's not his personal cell phone number, but that's the stuff that will be controlled by the application. So Mark Benioff will be able to own his record and say, I never have my cell phone number, and be able to basically say this cannot sync out. But I think it's the opposite. With LinkedIn and all this, my information is everywhere, and that's okay because it's my professional persona, which we've talked a lot about, having a professional persona. I want it out there, and I don't want people to have the wrong information. So yeah, personally, I don't.
But that's because you want people contacting you. If
right,
you're a person who doesn't,
if you own a company, if you're a professional person,
no.
Yeah.
If you're a decision maker, let's say you're an IT decision maker at a large firm somewhere, and a salesperson from tech company Y gets to you and decides that you're a decision maker, you like being hidden when you're one of those people at a institution. Why? And now you're going to get calls, solicitations from any salesperson that has access to this data. I personally feel like it's a bit.
I guess but it's no worse than going to Dreamforce, dropping your, where we all know that by registering for Dreamforce, I'm sure somewhere in the terms and conditions I said, you can take every piece of information I've just given to you and give it to every vendor that's at this place, right? You know this, you've done conferences before, that basically if you're a sponsor of the thing, you get to have a cut of the people who went. So in essence, I'm already publishing my stuff. I don't know. I think if done right, it's brilliant. If done wrong, it could be a catastrophe. But the idea that there's so many records out there and so many copies of the same thing, and if I've said as Jason Atwood, here's my address book, here's my address, here's my phone number, here's my email, and it is verified. I don't care if everybody wants to pull it down into their Salesforce org. Fine.
See, that's different than.
Well, that's permission based.
But that's different than someone updating their thing in Salesforce and having it sync up to Jigsaw, and then everybody else getting to benefit from that.
No, it's more of, does this record exist? And I've put in some information, and I'm now connecting it to the Jigsaw one. And again, there's got to be some sort of, this exists today, but I think it'll be done much better. That's my bold prediction. What I think the conference will be about, mobile, chatter, that's it. They're going to go into,
I think Service Cloud will make a big showing as well.
I feel like that made a big showing last time, though.
I feel like it's been revamped quite a bit, and that it hasn't gotten a whole lot of traction. So I feel like Service Cloud needs to step its game up.
I'm willing to be wowed. How's that?
Me too.
I'm really looking forward to it because in some ways, there's been some huge changes over the last year in Salesforce world. The UI being a massive one, Chatter being another massive one. What else can we handle? So we'll see. So that's going to end up this podcast. Again, no CloudFocus app pick of the week because we are doing lots. Well, there's no week because we're doing lots of podcasts. We're going to try to do 2 more this week. We're going to do one after each keynote. Again, if you're on the contest, that'll be, you stay in the group on the Dreamforce app, and that will be exactly where we are. We'll post it so you can come get your t-shirt if you've done all the above. And we will do one on Tuesday and Wednesday. We're talking about what actually was said after the keynotes and what the buzz is, and maybe, if we're lucky, have maybe an interview. It'll be an interesting way of recording it because we're going to do it in a big open space as opposed to a small, quiet room. So it might be one of those live from the Moscone, listen to the cheers of people as they eat their lunch. So, but until then, if you want to stay up in touch with us in any other way, blog.arkusinc.com is our blog where we post articles and things. If you want to follow the company, which if you're doing for the contest, is twitter.com/ArkusInc. That's ARKUSINC. And I'm Jason, twitter.com/Jason M. Atwood. Justin here is twitter.com/Just Edelstein. And Facebook, facebook.com/ArkusInc. same spelling as in Twitter. And until Tuesday, remember to go in, have a good time at Dreamforce, and we'll see you there. Keep on dreaming.